Before you all play in the Discover Orange Bowl, what's left to do for your team in preparation?
Well, same as a game week. You kind of go 7 days out, when you're in this 30-day schedule. And so this is actually, to everybody else, a certain day of the week. To us, it's Thursday. And so we talk about it being Thursday, and we just go through a regular game week this week. So it's no different than any other week.
David with TigerNet.com. Coach, have you been able to keep the defense's focus like they had in the ACC championship game and that intensity that they had in that outing?
We won't know that until Wednesday night. They practiced that way, but they've been a good practice team all year long. You're asking me to predict results, and that when you're dealing with football, particularly college football, that's pretty hard to do. They've prepared well, but they've prepared well every week. They've had good focus, but they've had good focus every week. They've had good energy every week. This has been no different, and hopefully we can get the same results.
We're going to straight in front of you through rows back.
Hey, Coach, I'm Susan Miller-Degnan of the Miami Herald. I'm wondering how you think the loss of Dustin Garrison will affect the complexion of the game, and then the second part of that question is, have you seen enough film of Andrew Bowie to get a feel, for what he can do?
Well, by the way, these guys from South Carolina want to know how they can get a job with the Miami Herald too. In this weather, but that's another story. We're really big about, it's about what we do. It's about how we line up and our accountability and responsibility to do our job, and not so much about who is over on the other side and what jersey number it is or what player. And we try to approach every game like that, every snap like that. But the truth of the matter is, as a coach, obviously the guy's a starter for a reason. He's a very, very good player, very productive for him. But we've just gone about the business as they're going to have a guy out there that's very capable, just like we will if we put a guy to replace a starter. Film-wise, obviously there's not as many snaps. The video evidence of the backup is not as many snaps as the starter, but there's enough snaps to see his running style, his catching style, his protection style, those kind of things. There's enough video evidence for that.
All the way to your right in the second row.
West Virginia's offensive line has been pretty inconsistent this season. Without giving away too many company secrets, where do you think you can take advantage there with your front?
Well, first of all, when you're dealing with college football and the depth of offensive lines, I think every coach and every defensive coordinator will tell you, very rarely do you see the same guys start anymore. And if you do, it's usually a team that's very, very high ranked, very good, had a very productive offensive year. There's just those guys have been injured a lot. You see different five starters week in and week out. So you kind of get used to that as a defensive coach. And then there's always games where protections are a problem, and then the next game it's not for them. So you kind of say, well, is it who they're playing or is it them? They're very capable. They're what I call a typical West Virginia offensive line. I've coached against them before. Very capable of doing the job. As far as how to attack those, I mean, we've got enough in our repertoire that if something doesn't work, we can draw from another well. I'll show you that.
We're going to go in the back row on your left.
Coach, just talk about what makes this offense you're facing so special, their strengths, and what are you going to key on, I guess, come bowl night?
Well, the best way to describe it for the person who doesn't have to defend it is it's in some ways like playing in Canada. There's 12 men and 2 guys in motion. I mean, that's not the way we play American football, but it almost looks like that sometimes because it goes very fast. They're spread out. They leave 2 open edges all the time. There's football coaches that I've coached with who say you can't play a football game and leave 2 open edges all the time and throw the football. But they do it, and they do it very effectively. And I think the big thing is when you've got a quarterback that gets the ball out of his hand, is accurate with his throws and the route runners are quick, catch the ball on the run and then get yardage after the catch, it can be very effective. It's been very effective for Mummy, Leach, those guys, and it's a tough offense to defend. Now, just like, hopefully, for us, it's it's harder to defend in a week than it is in 30 days, I'll tell you that.
Next question from Coach Steele. Right down here in the front.
Graham of Rice. Given that they do things so quickly and Smith won't hold the ball for very long, it kind of takes away some of what you guys do well when you're at your best, and that's the pressure, getting to the quarterback, forcing him to do things outside his comfort zones. Do you do then something different with the back seven?
I'm not sure I understand.
To find a way to keep things in front of you, or do you stick with what you do well?
Well, we're going to dance with the one that brung us. I mean, we do what we do, and we're multiple. We're going to pressure you, and we're going to play split safety in the middle of the field coverage zone, and that's what we do. In terms of the speed of it, there's so much no huddle offense in college football now. In fact, our offense is no huddle. We practice against it all at camp. We practice against it in spring. So we have a system of getting our calls in, get them in fast. Just make sure you get lined up, and then it allows you to do what you got to do, however, whatever that is.
Go again on your left in the back row.
The general consensus is that bowl practices give you time with some of the younger players who maybe you haven't spent time with during the season. Has that been the case for you, getting these younger guys some work? And if so, who are some that have kind of stood out to you?
Well, I mean, with the redshirt guys you're talking about, after practice. There's no 4-hour rule in terms of, there's no 20-hour rule in the week. There's no spring practice, 15 days, 3 of them in pads, can't tackle here, can't tackle there. You can practice like you used to do. And so we do have an after practice with the young guys. And you know the names of those guys. If I sat up here and just started going down the list, we've got young guys that are very capable, some of them that could have played, Mike Cortez. He got a lot of work at corner, did a great job, and you can see he's going to be a very good player. But just go B.J. Goodson and Walls and right on down the list. And we actually kept some of the younger guys like Teague and Barnes and those guys and let them do that too, because they've had reps and they've had game reps, but not like a starter.
Straight in front of you, row 2.
Do you plan on starting Xavier again at safety, and how do you feel like he's done since making the transition over from cornerback?
No, I'm not going to tell you who's going to start at safety. No, I'm just really, Xavier hadn't started. He didn't in the championship game, did not start at safety. So that he has the ability to play there if we need him there. He's kind of the utility guy. He can play nickel or star. He can play money. He can play corner. He can play safety. He's the one guy that can play everything back there. And so he may be in it, any of those, or maybe just 1 or 2 of those.
Over here to your left in the second row.
Kevin, can you give an idea or your take on how your cornerbacks and defensive backs have progressed this season in terms of playing the ball in the air and defending the pass?
I'm not sure I follow you.
I'm just wondering how they've progressed just playing the ball in the air and just pass
Are
coverage.
you insinuating they were
No.
bad at it?
No, I'm just wondering what.
That they got
No,
better or worse?
neither.
I'm following.
I just want you to.
Well, I mean, we've got guys with good ball skills. We got one in particular that has some, contact issues, and not in terms of contact as in vision. But our DBs, that's one of the things that when we look at a DB, ball skills is very, very important. And, we do that. But then again, too, we're a matched team, play a lot of man. And, if you're not in dominant position man, you better be playing the man and the ball later. If you get dominant position, then you get your eyes around them and play the ball. And so they do a good job of that.
Third row back straight in front of you.
Hi, Coach. Jen Menendez from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. There's been a few games this year where West Virginia has struggled to move the ball through the course of the game, and then at the very end, the 11th hour, fourth quarter, they really put together a drive that has won the game. Is there any way to prepare for something like that heading into a game?
Yeah, there's a great way. Have more points than they can catch up with. That's a great way. So, yeah, we're a big, we emphasize 2 minute a lot. We practice against our offense in 2 minutes situation, ones against ones every week on Wednesday. And we actually set the clock different times. 1:53, they've got one timeout, 60 yards to go. Then the next time we may go, for the twos, it may be put the ball at the 50, they need a field goal, they got no timeouts, they got 42 seconds to go. We practice that against our offense, and then we do it twice a week. I'm sorry, in the bowl practice we did it twice a week, but in the season ones, where we actually do the same thing with the scout team. And so we practice 2 minute a lot. And we have a system of doing that, quick calls and obviously tackling bounds, those kind of things. So yeah, we've got a system in place for that, and we've been a good 2 minute team over the 3 years that we've been there.
Back over here to your left, third row.
David Scott from the Charlotte Observer. Kevin, can you talk a little bit more about Geno and what makes him so dangerous and special at that good?
Well, he's very athletic. He does a really, really good job, and this goes back, having played against this offense at Kentucky, and then Oklahoma, Texas Tech, now. I mean, it's not the first time you've seen different quarterbacks, and he does a great job at what we call catch and throw. He's got good field vision because, when you're in the gun all the time, people don't realize when you're underneath the center, you got your eyes down the field. So you take the snap and you're seeing what's there. There's middle of the field coverage, your eyes are always downfield. But when you're in the gun all the time, at some point in time, you got to watch the ball into your hands. It's kind of hard to catch that ball because you see it kind of go around the clock in terms of where it's at. He does a great job of getting the ball caught and getting his eyes on his reads and then getting the ball out very quick. And then he's very accurate with his throws, and he has the ability to scramble. I've known him since he was in high school, so I know what he can do with his legs. But he really does. He's more of an NFL style in that he scrambles to throw. He's going to look to throw it first. As soon as I say that, then he'll scramble for 80 yards Wednesday night. He does scramble to throw.
We're going to go back to student coach.
Can you talk a little bit about Andre Branch, how he sets the tone, and what's special about him?
Setting the tone is an understatement with Andre, and you'll get to talk to him here in a minute, and you'll understand that. There's certain people that wake up and, they're just not in a very good mood. He either talks in his sleep or he wakes up talking. And most of the time it's pretty positive, pretty high energy. He sets the tempo for the defense. His personality is very infectious for the group. He's very high energy, high motor, loves to play the game. The amazing thing about Andre that there's a lot of people that get ready to play at a high level, on Saturday or Sunday, but there's very few that come to practice every day, and you can just tell he either loves being outside or loves being around the guys, or he loves football. One of the three. It's got to be something, because when he comes to practice, he hits the field energetic, and it's contagious. That, I think, makes him, that's the first thing that makes him the player he is. He can run very well. He's got a good football IQ. He understands the game. It comes easy to him. He's not a high rep guy. You can pass him on the bench. You pass him in the hallway and say, Andre, on so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, we want you to, undercut the guard and then post the center. Gotcha. And, some guys can't do that. I mean, you can draw it, you can walk through it, you can practice it, and they got erasers, they just erase it out of their head, and next day you reteach it. Andre's kind of a guy that he just gets the game. So he's a lot of fun to coach in that regard, and then he's got the talent to play at a higher level than just a gift to play at a higher level than some people can play.
We're going to keep Coach Steele up here for a little while longer, but we're also going to open up the player interview room. So if you want to start making your way up there, and we will take the next question in this room in just a moment.